Welcome to Called to Homeschool with your host, Meg Thomas. I am a mother of 7 with 5 homeschool graduates. Each week, we'll talk about real life homeschool, mindset shifts, and practical tools you can use in your home. Because homeschooling isn't just about school, it's about restoring the family. Hello, welcome back to Called to Homeschool. I'm very excited to do this special podcast episode right before Mother's Day. Sometimes I do Mother's Day episodes, sometimes I'm just over it. I don't feel like doing it, but I was in the mood this year, so we are diving into the power of mothers. And I've been reading The Empowered Wife, and I think that's what inspired a lot of this is just that power of womanhood that I think society tells women, or somebody's telling women they're not powerful, and I just respectfully say nonsense because they are so amazing. So I'm excited to talk to you about being this empowered woman inside your family. And I've been thinking a lot about how women can be taught, or that's just your own thoughts about something, that if something's not going well at home, I just got to do more, try harder, fix my kids, stay on top of everything. And it's so exhausting. We were never meant to do it all, and it doesn't work. And so today I want to offer you just some different ideas. So where we lose our power. So I think a lot of moms can feel powerless, not because they actually are, but because where they're looking for power. They think if my kids would just listen, if they would stop fighting, they could be more motivated. Then I could feel calm. Then I could feel like I'm doing a good job. But that puts all the power on your kids, which is exhausting. Every kid you have, that's one more person you're trying to control. And that is so exhausting. And kids are the most unpredictable humans on the planet. So of course you would feel out of control. So what does an empowered mother do differently? She doesn't try to control everything around her. She leads herself. She understands I cannot control my kids, but I can control how I show up. And that changes everything. Because instead of reacting all day long, she becomes intentional. She becomes steady. She becomes someone her kids can feel safe around. And that's where real influence comes from. So with this, something else that empowered mothers do differently is they take care of themselves first. Now, this may be something that we skip and no, a really good mom just is all the way selfless and gives all of themselves to everybody. And beautiful, maybe. But if you give everything away, you have nothing left. If you fly in an airplane, what do they tell you? Put on your own oxygen mask first, right? Because you cannot help anybody else until you have taken care of yourself first. So this is not like some all or nothing, I need a full morning routine kind of way, but consistently enough of taking care of your basic needs that you are not running on empty. Because when you are exhausted, dehydrated, overstimulated, you haven't eaten any real food, of course everything is going to feel harder. Of course you are more reactive. Of course the noise feels louder. Of course the mess feels overwhelming. That's not a character flaw. That's a nervous system asking for support. So taking care of yourself first of all, is sleep. And if you are in a season with newborns, a kid coming into your bed, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to get all the sleep you need or your body would like, right? But trying to protect it as much as you can in the season that you're in. So if your kids are all in bed, making sure that you're not staying up way past the bedtime so that you're not getting enough sleep, right? Maybe putting in some naps if you need to, something to protect your sleep. Another one is drinking water, trying to drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water. I've worked with lots of clients with this. Some of them are like, I'm not drinking any water. So we start with 1 cup of water, right? Up to a gallon of water a day, right? But your body needs this water and it feels so much better when it is hydrated. Moving your body. Moving your body is a natural antidepressant. So you want to feel better, you move your body, right? Going on a walk is amazing. It doesn't have to be intense. Even those like myself who love intense workouts, walking is so good for you and moving your body, right? You can even include that in part of your school if you want to. Making sure you're eating some real food every day that fuels you. And some actual fruit, some actual veggies, some real meat, eggs, whatever, something that is real food every day so it just fuels you, so that you're not just grabbing a bite of a kid's sandwich here or grabbing a snack here or just completely running on empty because you have no fuel in your system. Another way to really take care of yourself is being careful with screens, of possibly limiting them. especially in the morning and evenings, but really when you're starting to feel yourself getting overstimulated because you're just using it as a way to check out and it doesn't really help your brain calm down. And then this last one, and I've started adding this into my fundamental list, is doing something, anything that brings you joy. Now, friends, when I was reading somewhere about like doing something for yourself every day, I was like, well, this is unrealistic because we are homeschool moms. And we have our kids are home with us all day. So it's not like when we drop the kids off at school, we can go do this thing for ourselves. So especially if you have all little kids, that's just not going to be realistic, right? So think small, think simple. Things like taking a bath. And this is funny because I am a bather. I love baths. I despise showers. I hate taking a shower so bad. So even when my babies were little, I would just bring them into the bathroom with me and I would set up like a bouncy seat, a jumper thing, all sorts of things. If the water isn't hot, then I can put them right in the tub with me. I don't care. I just want to sit in the tub. I love it so much. And I use bath salts. And if like an extra bonus, if I get to read, my baby was in there with me. I didn't read, right? But now without a baby, bringing a book in with me and then taking a bath, it is so luxurious to me, right? It brings me so much joy. Simple things like just brushing out your hair, brushing your teeth. Like, I just feel clean. It makes me so happy. Maybe you love to put on makeup. Like, I just feel cute. Or putting on your clothes and not just doing school in your sweats, right? Something so simple like that takes 30 seconds or just whatever. Like you're already in the trend, like you like to shower. So you put in some essential oils, right? Or something in your bathroom that just like smells really good and that makes you happy, brings you joy, right? Reading a book, anything that just brings you some joy. And so those are simple things, and you can even do bigger ones that you look forward to, of going out with your friends, getting your hair, nails done, going on a trip, right? Some bigger things that are once in a while things. But why these things matter is because when you take responsibility for your own well-being, you stop expecting your kids or your husband to manage your mood for you. Friends, do you understand that, what I'm saying? When you start managing and taking responsibility for your own well-being, your own happiness, you no longer expect your children or your husband or neighbor, in-laws, your own family to manage your mood for you. So that means you don't have to wait for your kids to behave so you can feel calm. You don't have to wait for your husband to show up in a certain way so you can feel supported. Your day to go perfectly so that you can feel happy. You create that stability from the inside out, and that is the real power, because now you are showing up to your family as someone who is more regulated, more patient, more grounded. Not because your life became magically perfect, but because you're taking ownership of how you feel. And when a mom does that, the whole home feels different. And as you do these things, it makes this next part so much easier. So the 3 shifts of an empowered mother. So the first pre-work, I guess, is taking care of yourself, right? And then we have the 3 shifts of an empowered mother. And she doesn't engage in the negativity. Not because she doesn't care or she's going to just turn a blind eye, but because she understands her attention fuels behavior. So instead of arguing, lecturing, overcorrecting, she stays calm. She doesn't match chaos with chaos. She learns to ignore the noise. The second thing she does, she notices the good and tells them and speaks the good, because this is where the magic happens, because what you look for grows. Instead of constantly putting out what's wrong, she says things like, I noticed you help your brother. I can see that you are trying. I love how you keep going. And that builds that identity in her kids. Number 3, she has clear boundaries without yelling. Empowered does not mean permissive. And I think so many times people think that like if we're working on connection or doing all this, it means to be permissive. Absolutely not, because that is just going to create chaos. It just means you're clear. It means you follow through calmly with what you said. This is a rule. This is a consequence. I don't need to raise my voice. I don't need to get emotionally charged about this. I'm showing up, and these are the consequences to our choices, and it is life-changing. So why this works, friends, because when you change how you show up, your whole home feels different. Not because your kids instantly became perfect, but because the emotional tone shifts. The power struggles decrease, the connection increases, and your kids respond to that. Because kids Never have ever needed a perfect mom who looks a certain way or behaves a certain way. They just want their mom. And a regulated mom is real awesome. Even if she is in sweats and stinky, they just love her. So you are just so much more powerful than you think. I think so many moms are walking around feeling like, I'm not doing enough, I'm not patient enough, I'm messing this up. But the truth is, you don't need more strategies. You just need to step into your power. And your power looks like staying calm when it's hard, leading instead of reacting, choosing connection over control, being consistent, not intense. That's the kind of mom who changes everything. So if you take anything from this episode, let it be this. Your power is not in controlling your kids. Your power is how you show up. And when you shift that, your whole family feels it. And that is how you build your calm, connected home. Friends, I hope you have an amazing Mother's Day. Remember that you get to choose whether or not you have an amazing Mother's Day. But if you have a friend you want to send this to, make sure you send it to her so that she can remember that she's this amazing, wonderful, empowered woman that can create the family and home that she wants. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks so much for listening to Call to Homeschool. If today's episode was helpful, the best way you can support the show is by leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps more homeschool moms find this work, and I appreciate it so much.